What heights of love, what depths of peace, when fears are still, when silence cease. My comforter, my all in all, here in the love of Christ I stand, in Christ alone, roots upon flesh, fullness of God in helpless pain. This gift of love and righteousness, sworn by the ones he came to save, till on that cross as Jesus died, the wrath of God was satisfied, for every sin on him was laid. Here in the death of Christ I live, there in the ground his body lay, light of the world by God was slain, then bursting forth in glorious day, up from the grave he rose again, and as he stands in victory, since Christ has lost his grip on me, for I am his and he is mine, bought with the precious blood of Christ. Well, hello everybody. Looks like we are going to be having a live show here tonight. Hopefully I got everything squared away and looking good, so we're going to try to make sure this is all ready to roll. I think it actually is. So I'm just going to take off here. We got a lot that I want to talk about here. Before we get started, I got to look at some of these little information things here, so I think it's looking pretty good. There's been a lot that has went on this week. We want to make a couple comments about that and got some things coming up. So before we get into what we're going to talk about, I would like to make mention of an upcoming debate in Ludington, Michigan at the Church of Christ in Ludington. For the life of me, I don't have that I should be on Facebook. Hi, Bill Evans. I see Bill Evans. My wife's telling me we're not on Facebook. It says we're on Facebook. So, let me double check. Tell you what, never ever goes off without a hitch. Well, I see it, so, anyway, well, I'll just keep going here. Try restarting, Tanya. Try restarting. Okay? So, anyway, the Church of Christ in Ludington, Michigan will be having a debate, the second part of a debate with Michael Miano on the subject of baptism. Now, in that first debate, Steve Baisden debating Michael Miano. Steve Baisden, a preacher in the Church of Christ. Michael Miano is the preacher at the, well, actually, I think he calls himself a pastor, at the Blue Point Bible Church in New York. I don't remember exactly where. But they were debating on baptism. That was, I think, weekend before last. Now, this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, will be a debate. They will finish up that debate. Again, that's in Ludington, Michigan at the Church of Christ. So if you have the opportunity, please go check that out. I think you'll like that. You can also watch it on live. Well, actually, I don't know if it'll be live, but it will at least be uploaded. So watch Steve Baisden's Facebook page for that. Actually, it's also on YouTube, but I think it's also on Steve Baisden's page on YouTube. But either way, we are so excited. Hey, I want to tell y'all, by the way, that I cannot hardly see these comments. They've changed this. I don't know how to actually to fix it. So open a new tab. No, I don't want to do that. So in order to monitor my video, I can't see the comments. But I do go back and check those. So, or at least I can't readily see them. I have to literally make very impressive. Brother Bill Evans preaching the gospel, the actual truth of eschatology and the gospel plan of salvation here in Indianapolis at the Biltmore Gardens Church of Christ. So we're very thankful for him and his stand for the truth. See Brother Tim Ogles, a member of our congregation, very thankful for him and his stand for the truth. Bobby Allison taking it to the people in Texas, preaching the truth. Got my good wife with us, Tanya Watson, and certainly love her and want you all to be praying for her. Next Tuesday, she will be having surgery, so I will not be here doing this program next week. So that's the reason why. She's having surgery, and we'd certainly solicit your prayers for her for a safe surgery and a beneficial surgery, gallbladder actually, and recovery. Now this is always scary to us because my wife has adverse reactions to everything. You give her a medication, she's going to be the one that has the reaction to it. So please keep her in your prayers. I know she's a little scared, and so am I. I want to say hi to Ben Shepherd's with us. Awful good to see you. And Danetta, they're watching, certainly with Bobby. We're thankful for that. Scott Claft, my brother, good to see you too. He's representing, however you do that. I don't know, representing Mid-Michigan, I think it is. So I'm going to go back to my video feed here and check these things out. Make sure we're good to go. We're going to talk about Norm Fields because this ends a debate. Yes, it ends a debate that began, I don't know, a few weeks ago between Norm Fields and Brent Bishop. Brent Bishop being the gospel preacher in Springville, California. And Brent affirms that Jesus returned in the first century. Norm was denying that. Now, I can tell you from the very beginning of this, I knew that I just had a bad feeling that this is what was going to happen. He gave up. He just quit. Norm Fields quit the debate. It's very, very obvious that what Brent did, let me put it this way. Brent took it to him, okay? He didn't stick it to him. He took it to him, and he laid it at Norm's feet, and he said, Norm, deal with this. Deal with these truths. And Norm would not do it. Norm gets on his program. Okay, so the deal was, I think they had a prescribed time. I don't remember exactly what that was. But so they had this prescribed time limit, and they were to make a video. Brent would go first, I think, and then Norm in the affirmative. Then Norm would answer in the negative in a video, and he would post that. Well, Norm never did that. He never kept the agreements of the debate from the very beginning. So that's pretty sad. It's pretty sad that he did that because he just simply, how do I put this nicely? He rather kind of, just because I'll say it, he chickened out. He did not follow the rules of the debate. Now, Brent went through his 3 affirmatives. Norm would spend 2 hours, 3 hours. I think one program was over 3 hours that he spent dealing with Brent. And it was very, very dishonest. And it was obvious that Norm had no clue what he was talking about. That's pretty sad. Then, anyway, on Norm Fields, number 255, his on YouTube, you can see this on number 255 on YouTube, Norm Fields Bible Q&A, he says, I'm not answering anymore. Next week, we're not talking about this anymore. I'm done with it. Norm Fields quit the debate. Now, there's not a Church of Christ preacher worth his salt anywhere alive on this planet who would quit any debate if he felt that he was winning. Or if he felt that he had, for the lack of anything, he surely wouldn't quit. If he thought he even had a chance. Here's what I think. This is just my commentary, my opinion on it. I really think that Norm Fields sees the truth. That's what I think. And I also think that he doesn't want to admit it. So it's very common for someone when they get pushed into a corner like that. They come out swinging. Um, it's like pushing a dog or something into a corner, and they're going to get mad and they're going to get that fight response. And so here's what he does: he calls names, he makes accusations, wild accusations. He casts aspersions, he obfuscates, you name it. And this is the way Norm Fields was dealing with this, because he knew that Brent's arguments were beautiful and they were powerful. Hello, Preterist Voice. I can see that comment right there at the top. Good to see you. I'm glad you're with us. So he could not deal with those arguments that Brent was making. Now, one of the arguments that Norm says, well, I'm not doing anything unless you answer to my satisfaction, like he is now the standard for answers. You have to answer it to my satisfaction before we'll proceed on further. You know how sad that is? Let me tell you how sad that is. That's really sad. It's really sad because Norm is not the standard. The Bible's the standard. And that's exactly what Brent did. Brent said, here's book, chapter, and verse. Here's books, chapters, and verses. That's what Brent did. Norm gets on his program, and he laughs and he chuckles, and he's got this really terrible, nervous laugh because he knows that he can't answer these things. And then he spends time calling names and making fun of Brent and making fun of everyone who's a preterist. And then he has to march in lockstep with the people who he would otherwise be calling them cultists. So, it's kind of like the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Well, that's how Norm Fields was operating in this entire debate. That's how desperate he was. Norm Fields was desperate. This is why he quit the debate. Norm Fields was desperate for a way to refute Brent, so much so that he would go to people like Lance Conley, Lori White, and Howard Denham, and whoever he could find to actually try to get answers, rather than simply giving the plain, simple, clear answers that come from the scriptures. Now, if he has the truth, he should have been able to defend what he believes. But it's obvious that he does not have the truth, because he could not. No. He would not defend what he believes. Norm did not give an answer for anything. I mean, very, very little. For every 10 passages that Brent would offer, Norm would offer 0.1, kind of like the COVID fatality, percentage. So it's not a good situation for Norm. Norm has egg all over his face. He quit. A preacher in the Church of Christ. Let this soak in, people. A preacher in the Church of Christ, Norm Fields, gave up on a debate. That's all you got to say. That's all that has to be said. Now, one of the issues that I got, because I was listening to this, I spent some time listening to number 255 on Norm Fields' Bible Q&A. So go there and listen to it. See for yourself. He starts with a clip from a sermon. I don't know what that was about. Then I thinking maybe 20 minutes in or something like that, he goes into talking about it. So I skipped the clip from the sermon when I realized it had nothing to do with Brent. Then I listened to what I think was maybe about an hour and a half, I'm guessing, that he talked about this. He never even tried to answer any of Brent's questions, any of Brent's affirmative points. Now, we're going to talk about how Norm is totally confused on marriage. As a matter of fact, he admits that he does not understand New Testament marriage, and he surely doesn't understand Old Testament marriage. So I'm going to set Norm straight. I'm going to set the record straight for Norm, so he can just listen to this and he'll get. I love it, Bobby. White flag. I see that. I'm going to have to try to check these comments a little more. Oh, by the way, hey, I want to say this real quick. I blocked Lance Conley on Facebook. He's not blocked on that other one, on Restoration Movement 2.0. You can see it there at the bottom of the screen, I think. Yeah. at the bottom of the screen. But he is blocked on Facebook. And the reason I did that, I very rarely block people, but when someone gets to the point where they're using inappropriate language, they are admittedly trying to deflect others away from listening to my message. Sorry, I'm not even going to apologize about that. I'm blocking you. Okay? When you start calling me names and you start, it's not right. I don't have to put up with that. There's a lot of other people on Facebook that I can take abuse from. I don't have to put up with that. So anyway, so that's the reason why. Every once in a while, I might unblock somebody. But usually they just fall right back into the exact same thing. So let's talk about how confused Norm was on this idea of marriage. Norm says, okay, so you're going to have to answer 12 questions. And I don't even know what they are now. I was going to write them down, but I figured I'll do good to answer one. I might do another one too. But we're at least going to talk about Matthew 22 and the concept of the levirate marriage. Now, Norm says, Matthew 22, listen to this, okay? Norm says, if you've ever studied anything in the Scriptures, and if you've ever studied Matthew 22, you know what it's talking about, at least you should. And Norm says, get this, Matthew 22 and the Sadducees' question had absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with the levirate marriage. You got to be kidding me. Let me take a drink here. Matter of fact, I'm going to try to pull up this on the screen so you can see it there. Cool, clear water. Makes me want to sing a song. There might be a few of you out there who actually know what I'm talking about. The song like that would never make the top 40, right? Today. Anyway, let me pull this up here. So we need Matthew chapter 22. Well, not 222. Let's choose the NASB. How's that? Because that's what I use. We can look at all kinds of others if you really want to do that, but we're going to look at this one. So Matthew chapter 22. I need to choose this one. Maybe. Yes, that's the one. Okay, so wrong button. So we're in Matthew chapter 22, and in the first part of the chapter, you have this parable of the marriage feast. Kind of handy that it says it right there up at the top. So Jesus is speaking here in parables. So here's what he says. The kingdom of heaven is like a king who held a wedding feast for his son. He sent his slaves to call those who had been invited to the wedding feast. They were unwilling to come. And again, he sent out other slaves, tell those who have been invited, behold, I have prepared my dinner, my oxen, my fattened cattle, and all the butchered, and everything is ready. Come to the wedding feast, right? Come to the wedding feast. We even sing a song about that. Actually, not good to sing that song today unless you sing it with the understanding, because the feast has already been prepared and is being served. We're not waiting on it. But anyway, they paid no attention, went their separate ways, one to his own farm, another to his business, and the rest seized his slaves and threatened them abusively and then killed them. Now the king was angry, and he sent his armies and destroyed those murderers and set their city on fire. Wow. Sounds a little prophetic to me. Then he said to his slaves, the wedding feast is ready, but those who were invited were not worthy. So go to the main roads and invite whomever you find there to the wedding feast. And those slaves went out into the streets and gathered together all whom they found, both bad and good, and the wedding hall was filled with dinner guests. But when the king came in to look over, hey, where'd my cursor go? There it is. To look over the dinner guests, he saw a man there who was not dressed in wedding clothes. And he said to him, friend, how'd you get in here without wedding clothes? And the man was speechless. And the king said to the servants, tie his hands and feet and throw him into outer darkness. There will be weeping and gnashing of teeth in that place. Many are called and few are chosen. So someone came to the wedding feast that was not supposed to be there. They tried to get in their own way. They were cast out into outer darkness. So I want you to think about some things here. So what I did is I just kind of established the context of Matthew chapter 22. So the context of Matthew 22 is talking about a wedding. Now, you will not find anywhere in the scriptures, and this is what Norm and so many other people who are just simply trying to cast aspersions. They're just all they want to do. They'll never answer a question. They can't even explain Matthew 22. But either way, all they want to do is muddy the waters. Well, what they're trying to do, for those of you who are, matter of fact, while I'm here, I need to check this out. For those of you who are honest Bible students, you're looking at things, and you're yes, that's right. I knew Scott would get it. All they're trying to do is direct your attention away and say, hey, look over there. Don't look here. Look over there at this half-truth or this lie, but don't look at the truth. That's all they're trying to do. You know how sad that is? That's pretty sad. That's really, really sad, actually. So what they do is not answer the questions. They don't answer the questions. Just the reason. This is the exact same way that Norm was doing this. See, I get so distracted when I try to look at comments. It's the same thing that Norm was trying to do. Norm was trying to... Hi, Brent Bishop. By the way, Brent's on YouTube. Great to see you there, my friend and my brother. I love it. I just love this. Stephen Whitsitt, I blocked you for the exact reason that I gave earlier on. So that's it. Norm couldn't answer the question. Norm doesn't understand. Norm could not tell you when the wedding feast is. Has the wedding feast already occurred, or is it in our future? Because Norm knows if he nails it down one way or the other. I challenged Norm. When is the wedding feast? Has the wedding feast been completed? How does all of that work? Well, we've got great answers for that. Most of the people in these denominations, and Norm is a part of a denomination, make no mistake about it. The reason I say that is because the New Testament church did not operate that way. Did not believe what Norm believes. Think about this. The New Testament church, okay? This is just a thumbnail sketch of what they believe. But the New Testament church, here's what they did. Let's see if Norm Field's church emulates the New Testament church. They met on the first day of the week. They sang on the first day of the week when they gathered together. I'm sure they sang when they got together other times too, but that's what they did. They gave their means, 1 Corinthians 16, 1 and 2. They did that for a purpose. It was purposeful. So anyway, they gave of their means. They prayed when they met on the first day of the week. I'm sure they prayed other times of the week too. They met to break bread on the first day of the week. Now, when I say breaking bread, I'm talking about the Lord's Supper. So that's what the New Testament church did. Some of the things they believed that were important. Some other things that they believed were important. They believed that a person must be baptized in order to be saved. Water baptism in order to be saved. This will just ring. I was kind of expecting this, so we're going to listen to this. This is Brent Bishop here. So let me get this here. Hey, brother, how are you?
Hi, John. How are you?
I'm doing peachy.
I hope I didn't interrupt.
No. I'm glad to hear from you because you're the man in the middle of the battle, and Norm went home. Norm laid down his weapons and went home.
He threw in the towel. He flat out said on his program last night he's not going to deal with it anymore. And I was shocked, and I went, well, he's quit the debate, and absolutely he has. And then he contacts me today and accuses me of being dishonest and accuses everyone of being dishonest. Mm-hmm. He's dishonest because he's not keeping to his agreement. He agreed to the proposition that I wrote up. He gave a thumbs up to it. He knows that he did. And he agreed that we would each have 3 affirmatives and 3 negatives, that he would stick to a 20-minute time frame. And so my first affirmative was 16 minutes because I was going to stay under the time frame. And then his first rebuttal to my 16-minute affirmative was an hour and 30 some minutes long.
Oh yeah, I know
And it was from that point that I realized he's not an honest man. He's not going to stick to the time frame agreed. He's absolutely dishonest. He's full of himself, and he's dishonest. Norm, you're dishonest.
I hope he's watching.
His word, and he doesn't care about it, John. He doesn't care about even keeping his word. He wants to get up there and chuckle and laugh and call us names and call us dishonest. He's absolutely dishonest because he's not holding to his time frame. And so on my second affirmative, I think I went 27 minutes. So why should I hold back on my time frame if he's going to go for 3 hours on his show? Which is this totally not fair. It's not what we agreed to. So I did a 27-minute second affirmative, and then I did a 42-minute third affirmative. And tonight, hey, Norm, you might want to watch Springville's channel because another one's coming at you, my friend. I'm doing another one tonight, John.
Are you really?
I'm
Great.
going to hammer Norm into the ground.
So you're putting
his false doctrine.
So you're putting that on Facebook, Church of Christ at Springville?
No, I'm putting it on the Springville Church of Christ YouTube page.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Well, I pulled up Facebook's, but
yeah, no, it won't be on Facebook, but it'll be on our YouTube page. So as soon as my son-in-law gets back into town, we're going to the building and we're going to do it. We're going to put it up. And it's going to be Norm's Conundrum Again. That's the title of it.
That's awesome. See, so here's the thing. I listened to that. I thought I had listened to it, but I didn't. I thought it was 254. So when you guys were talking about that, I was like, I must have missed something. I need to go back and listen to it. But so I listened to it today. And when I realized, when it soaked in, that a preacher in the Church of Christ was giving up on a debate and not following the rules. Wow. Oh, wow.
I have never, ever seen a Church of Christ preacher give up in the middle of a debate. Norm is to take the affirmative right now. And he gave up. He threw in the towel. He said, I'm not dealing with it until you answer these questions.
Yeah.
I didn't agree to answer any questions from him. I agreed to answer his affirmative argument. And I will still answer it. So, Norm, you put up an affirmative argument, and I'll answer it. But he threw in the towel, John. He gave up.
He did.
Here's the thing. I thought that I would see Satan ice skate to work before I would see a Church of Christ preacher give up in the middle of a debate.
And he did. He absolutely
did.
Yes. Yeah, so, kind of showing people around your face or your YouTube channel here. So guys, go to Springville Church of Christ. Subscribe here on YouTube to this channel so you can get notifications when Norm takes a beating for what he did. This is crazy.
Yeah, Norm is fake. He has, for this whole time, it's been several months since the debate began, because he lollygags. He takes a sweet time. And he has acted as if he doesn't know Steve Baisden whatsoever. Well, I just confirmed with Steve Baisden tonight. He's known Norm for 15 plus years. He was a friend on Facebook prior to Steve coming to Realized Eschatology. And he would talk back and forth with Norm Fields. And then Norm Fields, during this debate, would get on his program and call out Steve Baisden as Steve Baisden, as if he didn't know anything about Steve. That is disingenuous.
I know.
That is fake. Norm Fields is a fake Church of Christ preacher. That's exactly what he is. You don't get on a public forum and act like you don't know a man that you've known